Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's July 29th, 2016. Top news story right now is that the Clinton campaign has been hacked. Their email has been hacked again. Notice how the media is using this common, ongoing theme of Hillary's email scandal, second hack within the week of the Democratic convention. This is all distraction. This is all noise. This is all to steer the conversation of the average American who follows the news and lets that be their buzz, what they talk about the next day with their friends, their family, their coworkers. This is why the media does this to us. They keep our minds fixated on things that do not matter. We live in a nation that has very real problems. Yes, the Clintons are very corrupt. And the least of our worries are what's going on with Hillary's emails, whether that she, isn't managing them correctly, they're getting hacked. These are such insignificant problems to we the people, the things going on in this nation. So for all of my adult life, since I've been 18 years old, I was 18 when September 11th happened, I've been speaking out to people about how nonsensical this media is, how it controls our minds, how it steers us down the path of agenda, which means needless war, the loss of liberties, the militarization of police. You can see this nation falling apart around us day by day, lie by lie, propaganda story after propaganda story. And what I learned after more than a decade of speaking out is what the media was doing with these headlines, with these narratives. Unless you're blind, you realize that the Zionists control the media, who are mostly Jewish. It's mostly Zionist Jews who control the media. In the Jewish faith, there's this mysticism called Kabbalah, which is very much centered on words and numbers. And there's a relationship between words and numbers in mathematics called gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words. When I learned about this, I was interested in finding out if that's the reason I saw certain numbers repeating in the media so often. Numbers such as 33, 47. They seem to appear in news stories in a disproportionate amount. And when I learned about gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, it was a day just like this. And I took a headline, and I didn't know what a gematria calculator was, but I learned how to do gematria through this book by the author Faith Giovanni, which you can find on Amazon, in bookstores, even places like Barnes & Noble, Borders. Faith Giovanni, she has these books on gematria. So I learned how to do gematria by hand, but once I learned about calculators, it made the world a lot easier to understand. Look at what this headline equals in gematria. It sums to 93. Now, what gematria is about is connecting words with numbers that have significance. What is significant about 93 to Hillary Clinton? That's the year Bill Clinton became the 42nd president, Hillary became the first lady. So, that's a substantial connection to 93. From doing this research, I know what 93 represents. You have to realize I've been researching this for 3 years straight, day by day, applying it, following it, and I know just how important these numbers are and who they're important to. Propaganda has gematria of 93, and propaganda stories routinely have 93 coded in the headlines, the details of the story. What else is important about 93 is it represents Saturn, which is a planet that has a lot of occult, esoteric meaning. It is the keeper of time. It is the most important planet because it represents time and our path in time. There's a religion called Thelema, and they worship the number 93. They greet by saying 93. They say goodbye by saying 93. And their motto is, do what thou wilt. Do what thou wilt. Do what thou wilt in Pythagorean gematria also sums to 64. If you learn about Aleister Crowley, the occultist, he was in Thelema. He talks about the significance of these numbers. This is old world knowledge that is still used by people who are in the know, people in media, in high places, the editors of these websites who determines these headlines. They are actively using this language of gematria. So, a nation that worships the number 93 is Israel. Israel was drawn up on the date September 3rd, 1947. 9/3, 47, one of those very important numbers. Zionism, that is the belief system in the state of Israel, the Jewish state, which is forbidden in the Torah. Notice how Thelema, Israel, Zion all sum to 64. In Israel, their Congress is called Knesset. Remember, this nation was drawn up on September 3rd, 9/3. Their speaker currently in Knesset in Israel is Edelstein, a name with 93 gematria. If you go through the history of their speakers, you apply this gematria, you'll see how many are 93. This number is very important to them. Again, the nation was drawn up September 3rd. The symbolism of 93 is found in so many things, from buildings that are iconic. In New York, the building that replaced the World Trade Centers is One World Trade Center, gematria of 93. They made that building 104 stories tall, 1,776 feet, like the year of establishment. In numerology terms, the year the U.S. was established, there's a method where you just add the first part and the second part of the year, which sums to 93. It was established 7/4/1776. If you add 7 and 4 as well, it sums to 104. The One World Trade Center is 104 stories tall, 1,776 feet, a tribute to the beginning of the nation. And you think about the World Trade Centers that they replaced. There was the 93 World Trade Center bombing on February 26th, a lot like 226 when written out. February 26th bombing in 93 after Bill Clinton became president. 226 sums to 93. This is not coincidence. These are numbers that are paired together routinely in this study of gematria. So 93 World Trade Center bombing. On the day of the attack, New York's the 11th state. The World Trade Centers look like giant 11s. The master builder numbers in numerology, master number 11. Flight 11 hit the first building, hitting floors 93 through 99. The second plane hit at 9:03 a.m. There was flight 93 of 33 passengers. The phrase false flag has gematria of 33. The World Trade Centers existed from 68 to 2001, 33 years. In 68, 911 was made the national emergency dialing code. World Trade Center construction began. George W. Bush graduated from Yale in Skull and Bones. George W. Bush has a birth numerology of 33, being born July 6th, 1946. His birthday is a span of 68 days before September 11th. The point I'm trying to make is our entire history has been planned. September 11th is the day that leaves 111 days left in the year. The construction firm that built the World Trade Centers has 111 named gematria, Magnuson Clementic Associates out of Seattle on the 47th parallel. I have videos on all of these things, and there's so much more than what I've just explained, but I just want people to see these numbers are coded for a reason. They are symbolic. Israel is part of an agenda of a Zionist Masonic New World Order that established the United States of America. When people say the New World Order is coming, they are deceiving, because the New World Order is an old world order that created this nation. Their colors are red, white, and blue. They are Masonic. They are Zionist. And they have agents such as Hillary Clinton who work for them and who get these tributes all along the way. So, just wanted to do another video documenting Hillary Clinton by the numbers. If you've missed my work on the DNC, the RNC, all of this is staged by the numbers, dates of significance. Remember, show you something about the Republican convention, just for anyone who's sore that I'm only picking on Hillary. The first president of the United States was George Washington, gematria of 187. The small way George Washington sums to 88. The name Trump sums to 88. So does the name Elizabeth. And this year, Donald Trump came out announcing himself at the Republican National Convention in Cleveland on July 18th, a date written 18/7, to the song Queen, We Are the Champions. And that came exactly 88 days after the Queen's birthday. Queen Elizabeth's birthday, 88 days later, Trump comes out to Queen. The Queen born April 21st, the day Prince died on by the numbers. If you're new here, I predicted Prince would die in February by the numbers. I talked about the number 67 in regards to why he might die. He died 67 days after the death of Vanity, his former girlfriend. Anyhow, from Queen Elizabeth's birthday to Donald Trump coming out July 18th at the Republican convention was 88 days. 88 days, Elizabeth 88, Trump 88. Now get this, from July 18th to Inauguration Day, if you count the full span of days, is 187 days. And remember, day one of the GOP convention was July 18th, 18/7. 187 days later is Inauguration Day. George Washington does have this parallel to Donald Trump through gematria. I'm pretty sure the election is rigged for Hillary, but what I want people to see is just how set up this all is by the numbers. George Washington also died at age 67 himself. Freemasonry equals 67. There's a lot of sacrifice numbers on Trump, and I think somehow this coding on him is a tribute to that's the first recognized president, right? Somehow Donald Trump is going to contribute to Hillary being the first female president. That's how I'm reading this riddle. From Hillary's birthday to Inauguration Day, for another example, I don't want this end date here, or I do. From Hillary's birthday to Inauguration Day is 87 days. Notice it's also 2 months and 26 days, kind of like 226, which we just talked about. But 87 is relevant because the name Clinton in gematria sums to 87. Should she become the 45th president, Bill will have been the 42nd, 42 plus 45, 87. I hope I'm making sense, especially if you're new here. If you are new here, please check out my other videos. I normally have my face on the screen, but it is blistering hot here, and I'm shirtless and sweaty, and, some of you probably wouldn't care, but who knows? Other people, they're always looking for a reason to complain, so hope you enjoyed the video. Please watch my how-to gematria video in the description. Please also subscribe if you have not so you can see my other videos very easily in your feed. If you go back and watch all my videos on the DNC, the RNC, you will be a lot more up to speed on what's really going on in the world of the rigged political election scripted by the numbers. Until next time, encore. I just opened up the actual link to look at the article. I already know it's propaganda. I don't even need to see what's inside, but I had to laugh as soon as I opened it up. The article was last updated at 10:37. So look, here's what's up with that post time in case you're new here. The veterans already know. 1037 in numerology terms, 0 doesn't count in the middle of the number. It's the same as 137. So words with 137 gematria, remember we're talking about a presidential race here. Authority, 137. Washington, D.C., 137. American meridian, which is the meridian that cuts through Washington, D.C., 137. That is the 33rd prime number. Clinton, 33. Police, 33. Federal, 33. Order, 33. Masonry, 33. Secrecy, 33. The article says the FBI is investigating, which was established July 26, 1908, a date with 33 numerology. That's also the date in history that New York State was established, the state that the Clinton political dynasty comes out of from the beginning of the country, where George Clinton was the original governor, the 4th vice president of the United States. But this is what I mean. It's always by the numbers. This is a religion to these people. You learn to recognize these numbers. You see what your media is all about. And here's one of the most happy men to deliver the awful propaganda, Wolf Blitzer. Let's listen to the mainstream reporting to close out.
David, this is serious stuff. The DNC was hacked, they believe, by the Russians. Now the DCCC, the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, the arm of House Democrats. And now we're getting word from Evan Perez and Jim Sciutto that the FBI and the Justice Department are investigating the possible hacking of the Clinton campaign's computers and email system. This is all very disturbing information.
Well, there's no doubt it's disturbing. And you remember last Sunday, Robbie Mook, the Clinton campaign manager, the campaign manager there, went on State of the Union with Jake and asserted it was the Russians without a ton of facts at that point. And other reporting has come.
So I just want to pause right there and make a point. They're talking about Russia. Clinton and Russia both sum to 87 in simple English gematria. All of these stories around Hillary Clinton are contrived by the numbers. Russia and the United States of America have the same Masonic, Zionist, banker tyrant masters. Both nations work for the same gang. They are used as controlled opposition against each other. So this is why they're talking about Russia and the hacks. You know, another thing they might bring up is Anonymous. Anonymous is controlled opposition. Anonymous 137. Let's continue.
Throughout the week that does sort of point that way. But perhaps Robbie was so confident last Saturday because they may have already been looking into this issue in their own campaign headquarters. So it now seems that sort of the Democratic establishment across the board, from the presidential campaign to the party headquarters to the congressional arm, they're under attack. I mean, that's what this is they're under attack. And so this now, I would imagine we're going to see congressional hearings, and this story's going to be with us for a while to find out who's doing it and what the motivation is behind it.
And if these leaks come out, I mean, who knows what's actually in those emails. Donna Brazile, the interim chair, said that there could be a lot more of those DNC emails coming out. And this is not, from what we know, anything to do with Hillary Clinton's private email server, but it keeps that issue in the news. Remember, James Comey said that hostile actors overseas could potentially access her emails through that private email server, so it keeps that issue alive.
He said it all right there. It keeps the narrative in the mainstream, and he's looking over his shoulder, seeing if his fellow liar pundits next to him are in agreement with the way he's spreading the propaganda. You know, while we're here, I'll close out with one more gem. I want to show you this about the death of Bill Clinton's biological father, in case you're new here. Bill Clinton's biological father, if I can type, death. So he died May 17th, 1946. May 17th, 1946. I want you to see what day of the year May 17th is. It's the 137th day of the year, leaving 228 days left in the year. We just talked about the significance of 137 with the federal government. Bill Clinton was born Bill Blythe. He took on the name William Jefferson Clinton. Look at this. William Jefferson Clinton. The Clinton political dynasty traces back to New York. This is not the name he was born with. His mother married into the Clinton family after his biological father's death. That day left 228 days left in the year. United States of America sums to 228 in simple English gematria. And another word that does is death in English gematria, which is simple English gematria like this. You just multiply by 6. Death is 38 in simple English gematria. 228 in the times 6 method. So death in the United States of America share this gematria. We're a war nation. We're always at war. If you're new here, I talk a lot about 38 and the deaths of musicians and actors. There's just so many classic examples of this. You know, today I heard that song, Over the Rainbow, sung by the Hawaiian man with the name Israel. And I remembered that he died young, so I wanted to go back and look at when he died. He died at age 38, a span of 38 days after his 38th birthday. And there's a whole lot more to it than that. I'm going to do a video on that guy because I got an ex-girlfriend that really loved that song, and I just know how much happiness that song brought her, and I'm sure it's been the same for so many other people in this world, and it's just sick to think that these people are being murdered by these Masons and Zionists, the same one who rig our news, who control these record studios, as ritual sacrifice by the numbers. There's a whole lot of sick stuff going on with this Kabbalist, Zionist Jew gang that runs our media, that runs our government, that controls our entertainment. These videos are about waking up, seeing just how deep the deception is, just how sick the game is. All right, this encore is way too long. Until next time, Truth Seeker.